In native communities, some stories aren't told for fun. They're told as warnings. Number 1, Thunderbird. High above the forests, lakes, and open plains, many native nations tell of the Thunderbird, a giant spirit bird tied to storms and sky power. When clouds pile up like mountains and the air turns heavy, elders say that is the bird traveling older than any town on a map, not as a pet of the weather but as part of it. In some traditions, thunder is the sound of its wings and lightning is the flash of its eye. On the northwest coast, thunderbirds appear in carvings and totem poles painted with wide wings and hooked beaks to show strength that humans cannot control. Stories often place the thunderbird in a world where spirits and people share the same land. A family might be crossing a river when a storm hits without warning. Trees bend, waves slap the shore, and everyone feels that someone is near. No one dares to shout at the sky. They keep close, speak softly, and wait. When the storm finally breaks, it leaves rain that fills creeks and helps crops grow. But it can also leave broken branches and flooded trails. That is why the thunderbird carries two sides, gift and warning. Even today, when a single thunderclap shakes the windows, some people still picture a huge shadow sliding through the clouds for a moment. The story makes the night feel bigger and teaches respect. Listen, prepare, and never act like the sky belongs to you. Number 2, Stusini. In parts of the southeast, stories warn about the Stani, an owl-like witch creature that hides in plain sight. By day, it can look like an ordinary person. By night, it is said to change into an owl being, silent and watchful, moving from tree to roof with no sound, but a soft wing beat. The scariest part is not sharp claws or big teeth. It is the idea that evil can wear a normal face. In some communities, the name is not spoken casually and stories about it are shared carefully because the tale is meant to teach caution, not to entertain with shock. In one kind of story, a small village grows uneasy when owls call night after night near the houses. Dogs bark at empty corners. A door cracks and someone swears they saw a shadow land on a branch, then rise up like a person for a second as if it was deciding who was alone. Nobody goes outside to prove anything. They stay together, keep the fire bright, and wait for sunrise. That is the point. Stakini stories push people toward smart choices. Don't wander by yourself after dark. Don't trust a strange voice behind you. And don't follow what you can't explain. Whether the creature is real or not, the warning is real and it can keep you safe. In daylight, the fear fades, but people remember how fast the night can change and why community matters most, especially when the woods go quiet. Number 3, Nusa Falaya. In Shaka stories from the old homelands of the southeast, Nusa Falaya is called the long black being. People describe it like a tall, thin shadow that loves dusk. When the last light stretches long and the woods become hard to read, it is not a roaring monster. It is quiet and it works through dread. Some tellings say it can melt into a shadow or move low as if it is sliding across the ground. Others say it appears near lonely trails to scare people into bad decisions. The point is clear. When panic takes over, a person can forget the safest path home. So in the story, a young hunter walks too far from camp. As evening falls, the air cools, crickets stop. He hears a soft scrape behind him that matches his steps, then stops when he stops. He turns fast but sees only trees and one patch of darkness that feels too deep for the time of day. He chooses calm over fear. He backs away, keeps his breathing slow, and follows the creek toward the glow of the fire. The shadow does not step into the circle of light and voices. Fades back into the timber like it was never there. Lesson stated. When night comes, stay close to home. Stay steady and don't let fear guide your feet. That is why children were told to come home by dusk, because fear can send you astray. Number 4, Sasquatch. Long before the word Bigfoot showed up on roadside signs, many indigenous communities in the Pacific Northwest told stories about large human-like beings living far from villages. One name that became famous is Sasquatch, linked to Coast Salish languages in that region. These are not internet monsters. They are old forest stories carried by families. In the stories, the woods are not empty. They have rules. A loud, careless person who mocks the forest may hear heavy knocks on trees or see something tall slip between cedar trunks where the light can't reach. Often the being is described as shy but powerful and smart enough to avoid people. A hiker might notice tracks in wet soil along a creek bigger than any bear print he has seen. Then the air goes still. Birds stop calling. Far off, one wood-knock answers another, like a warning being passed through the trees. The hiker does not chase it. He backs away, keeps his food packed, and heads toward open ground. By morning, only mist and footprints remain. No proof, no clear answers, just a reminder that wilderness is bigger than one person's pride. The story stays because it feels possible in a land that wide and old. And the message stays too. Respect the forest. Respect the people who have lived with it the longest. And don't treat their teachings like a joke for fun. Ever. Not even once. Number 5, Bako. In Anishab traditional stories, Bako is a dangerous spirit linked to death and the dangers of war. It is often described as thin and skeletal, moving through the forests of the Great Lakes like a bad wind that no one can see coming. Even its cry is remembered as shrill, a sound that makes a person's skin tighten. Some versions say Bak targets warriors, not children, and that it strikes from far away with arrows people cannot see. That detail matters because it turns the story into a lesson. Bravery is not the same as being careless, and even the strongest person can be brought down by pride and bad choices. So the tale may follow a young fighter who boasts too loudly before a raid or a hunt. The next night, the pines stand black against the moon. The snow squeaks under boots. Then the forest goes quiet like it is holding its breath. A sharp cry cuts the air high, cold, and close, yet no one sees anything move between the trunks. By morning, the village remembers the warning without needing more proof. Respect life. Respect the rules of the land. Do not rush into darkness just to prove something. Bako is the name people give to that hard truth when the forest teaches a lesson that no one wanted to learn, and it teaches it fast. Number 6, Utkina. In Cherokee stories, Utina is a horned serpent so large it is compared to a tree trunk with horns and a bright shining crest on its head. It is often tied to deep water in hidden places where the ground stays damp. The trees lean close and the air feels cooler than it should. That crest is the detail everyone remembers. It is described like a gem that blazes, and it is said to hold strong power. Some tellings also warn that Ucana is hard to harm, which makes it feel unstoppable. The message is not go fight it. The message is don't go looking for trouble. So the story might follow a traveler who sees a flash near the riverbank at twilight. Fog curls over the water, frogs stop singing. He takes one step closer, then another, trying to spot the source of the light. A log rolls in the current, then lifts its head. In that second, the traveler understands the log is alive. He stops. He backs away. He keeps his eyes on the bank and his feet on dry ground. Ucana stories teach respect for wild water and for mystery. When a river looks calm but feels too still, the safest move is to leave it alone and go home to the fire. The water swirls in a circle as if something big just turned below. The paddlers turn back before curiosity becomes a mistake. That's the heart of the legend. Be humble around deep water and listen to the people who know the place best. Whether someone calls it Gwidog or Champ, the story keeps the same warning. Respect the lake and it may let you pass in peace for generations. Number 10, Dear Woman. Across several native traditions, there are stories of Dear Woman or Dear Lady, a spirit whose details change from place to place. Often she appears as a beautiful woman until a person notices something wrong, like deer feet or a hoof print where a human step should be. Sometimes she is seen as a deer. In many tellings, she is a judge for men who hurt women and children. This is not a dating horror story. It is a warning wrapped in a legend. The message is about respect. Don't use power to hurt people. Don't ignore no, and don't think you can get away with cruelty just because the road is dark and nobody is watching. The story makes the rules of decency feel as serious as the night woods. So the tale might take place after a dance or a gathering when lanterns are going out and the path home is quiet. A selfish man follows someone into the trees, thinking he can do whatever he wants. The wind moves through tall grass. Then he hears a soft hoof tap on stone where a heel should be. Boi Furingbi. He looks down and sees the truth. He stumbles back, but it is too late for excuses. Dear Woman is the reminder that wrong choices bring consequences. And for everyone else, the lesson is clear and safe. Treat people with care, walk home in groups, and listen when someone says they feel uneasy. Number 11, Kushtaka. Along the rainy coasts of southeast Alaska, clinging stories speak of the Kushtaka, often translated as land otter man. It is described as a shapeshifter that can look like an otter, a person, or something in between. And it stays close to cold bays, river mouths, and thick forests where mist hides everything. Stories do not always agree on what it wants. Some tellings paint it as cruel, tricking people into danger. Others hint that it can save someone who is drowning by pulling them into its own world, changing them and keeping them there. Either way, the warning feels the same. Don't assume the water is friendly just because it looks calm. In one tale, a fisherman hears his friend calling from the rocks during a storm. He squints through rain and sees a human shape waving. He starts to climb down, then notices the smile is too wide, the eyes too still, and the friend never blinks. The wind carries the voice again, but the words sound slightly wrong. He backs away and calls for help instead of going alone. The shape slips into the surf without a splash, like it was never solid. Kushtaka stories teach a simple rule for wild places. Don't chase strange voices. Don't go to the water's edge in bad weather, and stay close to people you trust. Number 12, underwater panther. In the Great Lakes region, Anishinaabe traditions tell of the underwater panther, often called the Great Lynx. It is described with the head and paws of a giant cat, but also scales, spikes, and a long tail. Sometimes linked with copper, it lives in deep water and represents powerful forces below the surface. Some stories connect the underwater panther to places where copper is found and to the idea that certain treasures are guarded. That does not mean go hunt the monster. It means think before you take. The lake provides fish travel and life, but it also demands respect because it can turn in a heartbeat. So the tale may follow a canoe crossing when the wind shifts, the sky darkens, waves slap the side, and the water feels heavier, like something below is moving. A swirl forms near the bow, and for a moment the paddler thinks. He sees a cat-like face under the surface, watching from the dark. He grips the paddle, but he does not challenge the lake. They turn toward shore and let the storm pass. Later, when the sun returns, the water looks harmless again, almost friendly. But the story keeps its edge. The underwater panther is a reminder. The deep water is alive with mystery. If you enjoy this video, please click the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.